5 on your side at 10 starts now.
Dry and dusty. That sums up life on the farm across our region during this harvest season when this stagnant pattern begins to break.
Columbia crisis point. The message University of Missouri leaders are sending tonight after a deadly off-campus shooting during homecoming weekend. Our top story, a multi-car crash in Jefferson County leaves multiple people dead.
Because you just want to know who it is and just say prayers for the families.
Tonight, drivers calling the stretch of highway a problem area. Within the hour, all lanes of I-55 near Highway 67 in Festus have reopened nearly 7 hours after a 6-car crash claimed 3 lives and shut down traffic for several hours in both directions. Good evening, I'm Mike Bush. New details are emerging at this hour about the pileup that has left several families grieving and 4 people recovering tonight. Our Annie Krall was near the scene speaking with drivers still shaken by what they witnessed.
It was around 3:30 p.m. on Sunday when Missouri State Highway Patrol said at least 6 cars collided on I-55 near Route 67, bringing traffic to a standstill.
A hot mess. A very hot mess.
And saw on 270 that there were signs that 55 southbound was closed, so I got off in Herculaneum and was good until I got about here.
Veterans Memorial Boulevard bearing a lot of the detour weight as drivers try to stay calm through the frustrations.
It's pretty congested and backed up for sure.
One of the employees who was working at the closest gas station to the crash site when it happened wanted to stay anonymous on camera, but explained how dozens of people have been feeling during the delays.
A lot of people are impatient. A lot of people are trying to get to where they're going, which I understand that, but you got to take thoughts of other people. Other people have places to be, but you got to have patience with stuff like this.
Highway patrols saying the crash happened on the northbound portion of 55 at the 174-mile marker. Lisa Runk from St. Genevieve said this has been a problem area in the past.
There are several crosses in the road when you drive down 55. Some girls lost their lives, high school girls, a couple years ago, so they have some crosses. We came home probably 2 years ago in a similar accident, same area, a man lost his life, so it does seem to happen.
Sunday's crash adding to that grief.
You never know who it is. It might be somebody that you know, it might be one of their loved ones. You get that itchy feeling like because you just want to know who it is and just say prayers for the families.
Annie Krall, 5 on your side.
The Missouri State Highway Patrol's major crash investigation unit was on scene tonight, learning more about who was killed and what may have caused this crash. Tonight, the president of the University of Missouri is sending out a call for action after a deadly shooting in downtown Columbia on homecoming weekend that left a college student dead. Ayanna Williams, a volleyball player for Stevens College, died today from injuries she suffered in the shooting early yesterday morning outside a popular bar. 2 others were hurt. Police say they were innocent bystanders. Officers arrested a 23-year-old Florida man saying he fired multiple shots during an argument with a different group.
They were able to immediately apprehend the suspect and put him into custody. And so because of that, because they were already on scene, they were able to solve that fast.
University of Missouri President Mun Choi says that is not enough, saying while the campus is safe, crime in downtown Columbia has reached a crisis point. In an email to students, faculty, and staff, he called yesterday's shooting, quote, just another example of the rampant crime problem that we are witnessing on a daily basis. Cho is demanding city and county leaders push for more police downtown and other safety measures. He's offering the resources of campus police. Tonight in Michigan, at least 4 people are dead, multiple people injured after a gunman crashed his car into a Mormon church and opened fire with an assault rifle. Police shot and killed the 40-year-old gunman, a former Marine. Investigators believe he also set a massive fire at the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in the town of Grand Blanc. A motive remains unclear tonight. Authorities fear more victims will be found. All right, turning now to the weather impact forecast. We will turn the calendar to October this week. It won't feel like it, though. Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell is tracking a drought of both rain and fall-like temperatures.
And that lack of rain leading to a lack of humidity in general across the area. So we've had cool, comfortable mornings and then afternoon temperatures that climb to well above average numbers for this time of year. 77 is the average high. We were at 88 today for the high. Nowhere near records, and we're not going to see record highs, but it's been dry. The zinnias, some of those are still out. And boy, your butterflies, your bees, they're all looking for that nectar. They're looking for some water. Since August 1st, we're almost 4 inches down from what we would get on average precipitation-wise. By the way, that beautiful monarch butterfly picture is from Ray. Shared that with us on our 5 on Your Side Weather Watchers Facebook group. We are not getting any rain anytime soon. In fact, tomorrow morning, basically a repeat performance. 50s outlying areas, right around 60 in town. Quick warm-up will get underway after 8 o'clock. By lunchtime, we're back in the 80s tomorrow, and we'll start with a clear sky. So there is just not a whole lot of change coming our way. There's a stagnant upper level pattern that will slowly break down. No rain in the forecast this week and warmer than average. But we'll talk about some changes that could be coming as we head into next week.
A live look at Busch Stadium tonight. There won't be October baseball in St. Louis again this year. Cardinals ended a dismal season in disappointing fashion in Chicago today, swept by the Cubs at Wrigley, which means they finished the year with 78 wins and 84 losses. It's only the team's 3rd losing season in the last 20 years, and the Cardinals skipper remains optimistic about the future.
When it comes to the record, sure, you always want to do better, and I wish we would have been able to do that. But when it comes to the roster and style of play and what we created and what we're going to build on, I'm proud of our guys.
Spring training starts in 142 days, and coming up on Sports Plus, Sports Director Frank Cusimano sits down with John Mozeliak for his final TV interview as the Cardinals' Vice President of Baseball Operations. Mo will give his final end-of-the-season news conference tomorrow at noon. We'll stream that live on the 5 Plus app. Download and watch for free on your Roku, Apple, Fire, Samsung, or LG TV. It's official tonight. Missouri now has a new 7-to-1 congressional map on the books. Just hours ago, Governor Mike Kehoe signed the Missouri First map into law during a private ceremony. However, the map that favors Republicans in the 2026 midterms faces several legal challenges and a citizen petition. 5 on Your Side's Laura Barczewski digs into the latest lawsuit.
Shortly after Missouri Governor Mike Kehoe signed a new congressional map called the Missouri First map into law, the National Redistricting Foundation filed a lawsuit claiming this new map is unconstitutional because it was drawn mid-decade and with old census data, and the districts drawn are not compact. It joins several other lawsuits already filed after the map was sent to the governor's desk, one of them filed by attorney Chuck Hatfield.
I think these maps that they have drawn violate other principles of the Constitution. They are drawn in a strange way. They're strange shapes that violate the Constitution, and there are some technical errors with the way the maps were drawn.
One lawsuit by the ACLU claims one of those technical errors puts a block of voters in the Kansas City area in both districts 4 and 5. Governor Kehoe's office says this is actually a census error and 2 voting blocks go by the same number but are technically separate. Hatfield says populations have even shifted since the census in 2020 and used St. Charles County as an example, saying it's grown.
The congressional district that includes St. Charles should be smaller than it is, and the people in St. Charles County, therefore, should have more of a voice in how they elect a congressperson.
Governor Kehoe said in a statement, Missourians are more alike than we are different, and our values across both sides of the aisle are closer to each other than those of the congressional representation of states like New York, California, and Illinois. We believe this map best represents Missourians. The latest NRF lawsuit quotes former Governor Mike Parson with a similar sentiment when he signed the old map. Quote, the 2022 map meets our constitutional requirements and ultimately is fair to the people of Missouri. Even if the lawsuits fail, the voters could have the final word.
You've got sort of the lawsuit route, and then you also have an organized campaign to gather the signatures to force a vote on this redistricting proposal.
In St. Louis, Laura Barczewski, 5 on Your Side.
The petition campaign for signatures is expected to start this week. You can get a closer look of the map online. Just head to the As Seen on TV section on KSDK.com. Striking Boeing machinists are entering their 9th week on the picket line, and tomorrow both union and leaders and the company will return to the negotiation table. This with the help of a federal mediator. The workers have already rejected 3 contract offers. They're demanding better pay and benefits. They did approve their own version of a contract, but Boeing rejected it and called the contract a waste of time.
The art of healing.
I go home every day thrilled if I made someone's day just a little better.
The art teacher making a difference in the recovery of young patients. Missouri putting U-turns in the rearview mirror. The new safer turns popping up along a busy highway.
September's coming to an end, feeling a little more like August, except without the humidity, right? We average our first frost of the season in the next 2 or 3 weeks. I'll tell you why your plants won't get nipped anytime soon.
Making a Difference is sponsored by Midwest Bank Center.
When children face their biggest medical challenges, sometimes the most powerful medicine doesn't come from a pharmacy, it comes from a paintbrush. In tonight's Making a Difference report, an art teacher helping kids discover there are no limits to what they can create or overcome.
At Rankin Jordan Pediatric Bridge Hospital, healing is its own kind of art. In every child's recovery, a masterpiece.
All right, what's your last color, Madison?
And one of the people guiding those masterpieces and helping kids bridge the gap between medicine and hope
Just go like this real gently.
is Julie Vilhard.
I came in to volunteer once and I got a tour of the place and I literally said while I was here, if you ever need someone more, I would love to be a part of this. Okay, here's your shapes. Can you stick them on?
Julie became Rankin Jordan's art teacher,
Now you can stick it because there's a lot of glue on it.
bringing her passion as an artist to children facing some of the most challenging medical journeys of their young lives.
Yeah, just roll over the whole thing. Just roll on there.
For them, Julie's art room isn't just about creativity. It's about finding moments of joy and normalcy when everything else feels overwhelming.
Oh yeah, that is super fun. I see your heart down at the bottom. I want them to be able to relieve some stress, have a place where they can make choices, a place where they have some control.
And Julie has found remarkable ways to give kids that control, no matter what their physical limitations might be.
There was a little girl who came in, her arms were not useful to her, so she said, put that paintbrush in my mouth.
Where a lot of people might see limitations, Julie sees possibilities.
Does he have a name already?
Working together for hours at a time, Julie says the little girl found something she hadn't had in a long time, a sense of purpose that helped her forget, even briefly, about everything else.
Julie is such a jewel, and that she instinctively can take exactly where that kid is at and the recommendations of the team and create these amazing art experiences that just blow your mind.
We're gonna make it a little thicker.
For families like Amanda Roby and her 10-year-old son Vincent, who is on the autism spectrum,
So you should keep going and make it a little bit bigger.
Julie's program has become a lifeline that extends far beyond the art room.
It gives him a chance to express himself when words don't match up. He gets so excited when he gets to make art, make something pretty, and it makes me joyous just watching my kids smile.
It helps him heal. At the end of the day, we are all about not just physical healing for our kids, but really emotional healing, psychological healing, and art is just that wonderful universal thing that just helps kids grow.
We have to put a very small bird in there.
At Rankin Jordan, where children face their greatest challenges,
Perfect. I love it.
Julie Vilhard helps prove that limits don't define these kids, their spirit does.
Maybe they can't do life the way we've constructed what life looks like, but art doesn't have to have those in the box, those lines.
I go home every day thrilled if I made someone's day just a little better. Just say art makes you dance, Kai. Just say it.
She came here to teach art, but what she's really teaching is the art of healing.
Thanks for coming to art today, friend. Good to see you.
With brushes, with color, and with heart.
Well done. I like it.
And I was honored last night to MC the Rankin Jordan Gala, where Julie and so many others were recognized for their incredible work in transforming so many young lives. And a reminder, if you know someone making a difference for others, let me know by email at mbush@ksdk.com. Tonight, the southeast coast is keeping an eye on Tropical Storm Imelda. Forecasters predict it will strengthen into a hurricane this week. Although it is not expected to make direct landfall, it is expected to bring high surf, along with some coastal flooding and beach erosion from Florida to the Carolinas. And Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell joined us now with that weather impact forecast. Dry conditions here, Scott.
Yeah, and partly because we have that active weather out there in the Atlantic. When you have those big systems out in the Atlantic, it does tend to slow down the weather patterns, and we were already in a stuck weather pattern and a pretty stagnant one as it has been for the last week. Above average temperatures continuing. We've dropped back into the 70s in St. Louis at 71. Most of the outlying areas, though, are in that 60 to 65 degree range. Lambert at 71, 88 was the high, 58 the low. Those numbers above average for this time of year. And even though we're just a hair above average overall for the year on rainfall, in the last month or so, month and a half, we're down about 4 inches. Tonight, we're looking at about 55, 56 degrees, most of the outlying areas. In town around 61. And look at your warm up tomorrow. It's fast, it's furious. Temperatures are going to jump quickly, just like they did today. Now, these 80s, mid to upper 80s, come without the humidity that you would expect for this, time of year. When you start talking about upper 80s, you're thinking, oh, heat, humidity. Well, it's warm, but it's not humid. That's part of the problem. It's leading to the warmth, and there's no rain on the way to alleviate any of that. So if you've recently planted grass seed, if you've brought out some new bushes, went to the store, put in plantings, did some new landscaping, you got to water that to keep it going, because Mother Nature is not offering free water here for the next several days. That's focused out to the west, and then you see offshore of Florida here into the Bahamas, the stormy weather there associated with Imelda. And then you have Humberto, which is still a very strong Category 4 hurricane. That's going to stay out to sea. Imelda will follow behind it, and the two will actually kind of interact together. That's one of the reasons why Imelda is going to be pulled farther out to sea and not have a big impact on the southeast part of the U.S. For us, there's very little in the way of impactful weather here for this week, other than it's quite warm. We will have extra clouds into the mix on Wednesday. Wednesday's the first day of October. We start getting into the 1st of October, we start thinking about usually the first frost. Sometimes it comes the first week or two of October, like in Chesterfield in the Valley. October 9th is the average first state of a 36 degree or colder temperature on the Missouri side. Illinois side, October 6th in Ramsey, Illinois, October 7th in Jerseyville. This year we may be pushing it back even farther, as it looks like the earliest we could see frost would be about the last week in October, based on everything we're seeing now. We're certainly not going to have that opportunity in the next 7 to 10 days.
It's time to go on the move. I'm Paul Cook, your traffic guy from Today in St. Louis. We're talking about a new road safety measure called a J-turn. It's a different way to manage those four-way crossover intersections with 4 lanes of traffic. Some current road construction in Wildwood makes it necessary for a J-turn. So take a look at Route 100 at Route T. Locals call it St. Albans Road. MoDOT closed intersections in that area for repaving and to install one. Now drivers who want to make a left onto Route 100 will need to use the new J-turn just down the road. A J-turn does away with the need to turn left in front of all that traffic. And here's how you do it. Drivers pass the intersection by making a right and then end up in a safer spot to cross those 4 lanes of traffic going back the other way. J-turns are a safer alternative to a traditional 4-lane intersection because they reduce right-angle crashes, which cause the most fatal or serious injuries. MoDOT crews are also creating a J-turn at Route 100 in Wild Horse Creek. Construction there could last until late fall. So this is something new and intended to make the roads safer for drivers. You're sure to come across one of these while you're out and about. Stay safe out there. Paul Cook, 5 on your side.
Shutdown, showdown. The last-minute meeting as hours wane to keep the government open. Tomorrow, police in Austin, Texas are expected to release new findings on a 34-year-old cold case now linked to a serial killer from Missouri. The new evidence comes just weeks after a new HBO documentary called The Yogurt Shop Murders. Investigators say modern DNA testing on a bullet links those 1991 brutal killings of 4 teenage girls to Robert Eugene Brashers. He's also been linked to the 1998 murders of a southern Missouri mother and a young daughter and a 1990 murder of a woman in South Carolina. He died by suicide during a police standoff in 1999 in Kennett, Missouri. A live look now at Washington tonight, where we're just 48 hours away from a possible government shutdown. Lawmakers have until late Tuesday to pass a new spending bill. The top 4 congressional leaders are set to meet with President Trump tomorrow at the White House to hammer out a deal. Democrats want to extend Obamacare subsidies and scale back cuts to Medicaid. Republicans want no strings attached.
What the Democrats have done here is take the federal government as a hostage, and for that matter, by extension, the American people, to try and get a whole laundry list of things that they want that special interest groups on the far left are pushing them to accomplish.
The meeting is a first step, but only a first step. We need a serious negotiation. Now, if the president at this meeting is going to rant and just yell at Democrats and talk about all his alleged grievances and say this, that, and the other thing, we won't get anything done.
Republicans need 7 Democrats in the Senate to pass their spending bill. Check your freezers. Hillshire Brands is recalling 58 million pounds of corn dogs and sausage on a stick products because they could contain pieces of wood. The recall came after the company received several complaints. At least 5 people were hurt in some way. You're urged to throw the products away or return them to the store for a refund. Ending on a good note, how this year's Evolution Festival evolved into answering a call for the community. The final night of Evolution Fest just wrapped up about an hour ago at Forest Park. A little longer than that now. Rock star Lenny Kravitz headlined the main stage tonight. Proceeds from this year's festival are going to the United Way to help the city's recovery efforts from the May 16th tornado. And a big announcement tonight on NBC about the Super Bowl 60 halftime show. Puerto Rican rapper and singer Bad Bunny will be the headliner. Super Bowl 60 will air Sunday, February 8th, right here on 5 on Your Side. And there you have it, a late edition of 5 on Your Side at 10. Remember, we're always streaming on 5+. Sports Plus with Frank Cusimano is next.